In this video, we're going to talk about the 3 steps that I took to be able to pay off $43,000 of debt in just over a year and how other people inside my personal finance community are doing something similar, okay? And let's explain how these videos work because I'm building my personal finance community in public daily with these videos. So the first thing that I want to do is go through some YouTube comments, maybe treat this as like a YouTube Q&A session, give you guys immediate value, okay? Then probably the reason why you clicked on this video, thoughts in my mind to help you reach your financial goals faster. We're going to continue our wins series. And I've highlighted specific wins in my community in older videos. And what I want to do is look at the broader picture of like, let's look at 2 or 3 of them and see how they're using these same 3 steps that worked for me and that I'm sharing in the community and the wins that they got. Okay. Some of the wins are awesome. And then at the end, maybe we'll be talking about some community activity, things happening that I think will be helpful for you. So let's just go right to the YouTube here. We're going to go to the community. Oh, we don't have any Q&A. No worries. Get those questions in the comments. Like that's what I want. I want these to be valuable for you guys, specific to you. Okay. I want to help answer your questions. So this is my personal finance community, Dollar Discipline University. The link is down below. I've just started a cash flow kickstart. It's a 2-day sprint to find more money in your finances. And this kind of dives into, today in this video, we're going to be going over like the broader picture, but this 2-day sprint kind of goes a little deeper. So we're going to go to some of the wins here because I think it's important that we start labeling, some of the wins. So I'm going to go in my little tool here, my drawing tool. And we're just going to start with who. Now we're going to start with 3 simple steps. What are those simple steps? Let's talk about them. So there's 3 simple steps, I think, in regards to personal finances, and I think you need all 3 of them to succeed. We need awareness, we need action, and we need accountability. And we're going to go through 3 wins inside the community of people that have gotten like some serious wins and talk about how they're connected to all these. And I call these my my AAA framework. Okay. So who? The first one we're talking about is Zane. Then we're going to go to awareness. So what did they, let me do this first. Who? We're going to do win. What win did they have? Then we're going to go into awareness. We're going to go into action. And we're going to go into accountability. Create like sort of a little chart here, okay? Why didn't that one grab? Okay, let's do that. So Zane, what was his win? Well, he went from, he was in debt, out of debt, in debt, out of debt, couldn't really figure out a good structure, went through some stuff in the community, and after 4 months, let me make this bigger for you guys. After 4 months, he was able to flip cash flow from negative to positive, and it created an extra almost $4,000 in his like monthly budget that he had available to him. Okay, so his win was we're going to call it 4K cash flow. I might have to move this over. There we go. So how did he do it? Well, really simply, he was not looking at anything in his finances. Right? So after seeing the painful reality of my finances clearly, I've been able to do all these things. So basically, he didn't know where his money was going. So that's kind of the first thing, where he just looked at finances. Again, I need to move these over here. Okay, let's just do that and this and then that. All right. He just simply looked at his finances. He was in a spot where I think he would say he was making good income, and he just wasn't able to organize it and put money towards things that mattered to him the most. And he just kept finding that he was in this negative cash flow he averaged at about 1750 per month, which basically meant, yes, that he was going into debt to help like fund his life, right? He's got, a wife and kids and everything like that. So it was very important for him to like stop doing this and change it. So the action that he took was started tracking, right? Pretty crazy concept. Helped me look forward, not dwelling on mistakes in the past, but looking forward to the progress that was possible when combined with the right tools and direction. So we just started tracking, and he gave some credit to my tools inside the community, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about the tools, it matters how we use them. So if you have the worst tool on the planet, like, at some point, someone created that tool and they maybe used it and they got a win from it. So don't look at the tool or the thing like, this person or this tool failed me. Look at how you can utilize it to at least start doing something. Because I think we sort of glamorize the idea of having this perfect process, and it's just not that reasonable. Because if you're just starting out with this, or you have no idea like where to start or how to do it or anything like that, and then you're also thinking about, oh, let me make this process perfect, I think you're missing the point completely. So I just think it's really important to just start doing something. So start with awareness, and then we take action, and then we do accountability. So accountability is interesting, and I'm going to make these different colors here so we can clearly see what's going on. Great. So for Zane, the accountability was just finding a flow that worked. So I'm not going to pull up his message. He sent me a message recently. He didn't give me permission to show it, so I'm not going to. But basically, he recently was like, yeah, I have a scheduled time on my calendar to do finances, right? Which is so cool to me. It's like, wow, like he joined the community. He didn't know where to start, so he just did this awareness thing. Then he started tracking. Then he's like, I need to find a way to incorporate the action to continue moving forward so that I don't flop again. Because again, he went from he had no system for tracking where I was allowing his dollars to go, and he said his financial situation was headed for an iceberg collision. Okay, so he's saying that he's the Titanic, and there was about to be this massive iceberg thing that happened, right? So I think for him, what he wanted to do was he had to just commit himself to, hey, even if it's 30 minutes or an hour a week, like, how do I continue to do this? And I just think that's so important, because all three of these are necessary to make it work, right? So without awareness, like imagine like you started tracking your money somehow, but you didn't do the awareness stage. Like they all need to happen. Like you have to be aware first before you can take action. Because if you take action and you aren't aware, it's like you're taking an action on something that might not work because you don't know the inputs, the situation that you started yourself in, right? So that's Zane, and I do want to kind of run through these pretty quickly. So our next win that I want to talk about, let's do Angie. So in Angie's case, she said that she's paid off 65% of her debt in just 11 months. Okay, so let's go here. We're gonna do Angie, and her win. Let me put a dollar amount on it. So she sent this screenshot, which is really cool. So $43,000 of debt. So she down to 19. This was a couple months ago, so it's actually been better. But let's just say for the purposes of this video, 20 plus K, okay? 20K plus debt paid. Very cool. So what was her situation? Well, she's giving credit to tools and then monthly check-in calls with me, so like accountability and stuff like that. But how she did it, and I'm not going to share her file, she took what I gave her and was like, no, this doesn't really work for me, and she sort of created her own setup, which was great. So Her awareness was looked at finances. I don't know if you're seeing a recurring theme here. The action that she took was, oops, how did that change? Oh no. Okay. Well, hold on. There we go. And move that. Great. She started the action that she took. I think just daily. She actually did this daily, which is insane, but kudos. Daily tracking. So what that meant, she would come home from her day, and anything that she spent money on, she would go into her, the thing that she sort of built for herself. She took my tool and sort of revamped it a little bit, my Excel spreadsheet, whatever, and she did a daily tracking thing, and this really helped her just go through it all. So she would spend again, how many transactions are you making daily, right? How long would this feasibly take you? 3 minutes? Like, what do you have, like 2 to 5 transactions maybe in a day? Especially like during the week. Maybe on the weekends you have more, but like during the week, it's like how many transactions do you have? So she just started doing this daily, and what this did was it allowed her to see any problems that were coming up because she was doing this every day. Because so imagine, I talk to a lot of people and they're like, yeah, I do the budgeting thing and I don't understand what's going on. And when I dig a little deeper, it's because they track their money more or less on a monthly basis. So they set up their budget, okay, and then it's the end of the month. They're like, oh crap, I have to like update all my finances, and they go through and they update all their finances. But it's like the 28th of the month, and there's no chance or no opportunity to fix or change or adjust for the last couple months to have it sort of fit inside their budget. So what I recommend personally is, daily might sound intense. So I do think it's like the more we track, the more we care. But I would say that weekly is a great cadence if you're just kind of getting started. So find a flow that works, right? So kind of in Zane's situation. So accountability for Angie. She gave credit to like our monthly calls, but you don't have to have a monthly call with me to have accountability. Um, how can you create something where you just Angie would tell me on the calls that like because we have an upcoming call, she wanted to make sure that everything was like set up correctly, and like she did all of her stuff so that way it's not wasting my time, it's not wasting her time, and it also like forced her to do the thing. So you don't have to necessarily do a call with me, but it's more how can you set up your flow, kind of like Zane's too, where you make yourself accountable. You just put it in part of your schedule, your to-do list. Like we all have things to do, but how do we realign it where because like for example, I think Zane's only spending 30 minutes to an hour a week, and when you look at how many hours are in a week, um, let me just do the quick math here because it is super early. I don't feel like doing that in my head at the moment. So 24 hours times 7 days is 168 hours. So if we do 1 hour divided by 168, it's half of a percent of our week. That's nothing for 1 hour. Okay, so I think everyone gets like all bogged down. It's like, ugh, God, I have to do the personal finance thing now. But it's like half of a percent of our time to do this every single week. And trust me, you can find the hour. Everyone's very busy, but like if this is important to you, you have to find a way to find the hour. And you don't have to. I don't like saying have tos or shoulds. That's what I would recommend. Okay, let's swing into the next one here. We're going to talk about Janine. So Janine, her win was after 30 days. So she finished up her first month. One credit card paid off. So very cool. Janine. One credit card paid in 30 days. And just for context, this was over $1,000, and this is something that she thought would take months to pay off. And just by going through this awareness, action, accountability process, she was able to find it. So, because I've actually made videos about this before, and they're like, oh, people get upset about things, and people assume that maybe there was like a lower amount, and I guess $1,000 is a low amount, but it's still just she was able to get rid of a debt in 30 days just by doing this. So awareness, let's see what she said here. About to finish up my first month using the budget. spreadsheet. I actually feel like I have control and knowledge around my finances. So, although not perfect, I'm no longer burying my head guesstimating where my money's going. So the awareness looked at finances. Do you guys see some? You guys see a pattern here, right? So what's the thing that we want to have happen? What's the outcome? What's the goal? So for Zane, it was like how do I get out of this negative cash flow? For Angie, it's like how do I get rid of all this debt? For Janine, it's how do I get rid of all this debt? And then what's the input? What's the awareness step that we need to take to do that? Well, we need to start looking at something. We need to start looking at something. And at the end of this, maybe I could share me on this as well, what I did, again, in my journey, paying off $43,000 of debt. But I think it's more valuable, actually. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I can make I've made a couple of videos on this before, but if you're interested, I could do more. But I think it's more valuable to share like other people's experiences, because obviously I'm going to be biased in terms of how I do things. I think it's a great way to look at it, but if other people are saying so too, then maybe that will help you kind of get more confidence in doing all that stuff. So what's the action that she took? Yeah, so the action that she took, and this is slightly different. So she's saying that she worked with 3 other financial people that have never gotten this far in progress. She created an organized plan. So basically what she means here is she was shooting for the stars with her finances, but she didn't really build up the foundation. So the foundation is like understand like money flow. And I just wanted to say this differently to be kind of not repetitive, but at the end of the day, it's like she looked at it, she started tracking it, okay? And then for accountability, I think for her, the accountability was actually like, hey, after 30 days, she was so excited that she was able to figure this out, because she had money all over the place. She had multiple accounts, like multiple bank accounts, multiple credit cards and stuff that she was using, and actually just going through this process made her realize that she had way too many flows to look at her money. So when she started to look at her finances, she's like, wow, I have way too many ways where I spend money. So she had like 2 checking accounts, a couple credit cards. So just that alone, she's like, I need to reorganize what I'm doing here. Maybe go to one bank account, like one credit card for just like stuff or whatever. And I'm not anti-credit card, by the way, just to be clear. But if you are trying to get out of debt, I would probably figure out a way to stop using them, and just that way you can pay off the credit card instead of using it and paying it off, because you're obviously going to pay it off faster. So her accountability was she really liked I'm going to call it the carrot being dangled, right? So what I mean by that is she created an awesome goal for herself where she's like, I just want to pay off the debt. And I saw this result after 30 days, and you just get motivated. That's why doing just a small action, like looking at your finances, understanding your money flow, getting a win from that is very, very rewarding. Because again, we sort of glamorize the idea of this bigger picture that we have. How do we do this faster? How do we do this in a bigger way? How do I, become a millionaire tomorrow? It's just not going to happen without putting in the boring inputs at the beginning. Okay. So that's these. Let's go into some community activity really quickly before we wrap up the video. So I did mention this cash flow kickstart, and I think hopefully now it's going to, I forgot about this, but I actually highlighted the 3 people that I talked about: Angie, Zane, Janine. They had probably the 3 of the better wins in the community, like monetarily. There's been other people that have posted wins that are just like mindset stuff, which is really cool, and I'll probably make a video about those too, because I think that's equally as important. But at the end of the day, this cash flow kickstart that I'm doing, it's for any member that joins. So my idea is like you join the community, you can join the next cash flow kickstart. So I have a calendar here, and you can see, so this one started for this week, but there's another one coming up next week, and then the week after, and then the week after, and then there's going to be one every single week. So my idea is like, hey, if you join on, over the weekend here, you could join the Tuesday one if the day and time works for you. And it's a 2-day call sort of thing. So either 30-minute calls here, 30-minute call here, and then a small action item, that you need to do in between the calls. And at the end of this, I don't make any guarantees, but I do think it would be unreasonable to to expect that you would not find more money in your finances by going through this 2-day sprint. Okay, so we're gonna know where your money's been going, awareness. We're gonna know how to realign your money to things that matter the most, action, and then how to keep that momentum month after month, accountability. Right? It's the AAA framework. So if that interests you, make sure to join. Again, this community is for people that are trying to save more money, pay off debt. Maybe you want to budget better, track your stuff, or just be more confident. So what I'm trying to share inside the community is just like a foundational knowledge of how to get going. If you've done other stuff before that hasn't worked, how do you do something that you can sustain month after month after month after month? Okay. And quite honestly, it's very cool in here just seeing all these different names that are posting and sharing wins and just asking questions. It's a great community. We're growing every single day. So if this interests you at all, make sure to check out the community down below this video, school.com/debt. And I'm doing these videos daily. So I'm going to see you tomorrow.